Welcome to the Marvelous Post-Blip Podcast, a podcast on all things Marvel on the Fangirl Zone. I'm Steve.
I'm Mischievous Dave.
And I'm Sean Fangirl S. And today we're talking about episode 6 of Loki, titled For All Time, Always. Written by Michael Waldron, Eric Marting, and Bisha K. Alley, and directed by Kate Herron. So, I got a little bit of bad news, though. Kate Herron is not returning for season 2.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
That was curious.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're getting season 2, so that's a bonus.
Yes,
But before we jump into all of this and get so excited, because I think we know, we're going to go all like, but what about?
Yeah.
We have some feedback from last episode. So take it away, Steve.
All right, Jazz sent us some feedback just after we finished recording last week's episode. So here's what her thoughts were on episode 5.
Hello, this is Jazz with a review on Loki. I was glad that Loki and Sylvie admitted that they were friends. It's nice to see that at least for right now, it's possible to have platonic friends. And when they had their fight against the Balrog-looking creature that was ghost and mirrors and smoke and ate everything in its sight, I like the fact that the Sylvie character gave Loki a squeeze on his hand, because they were holding hands, as a pep talk, essentially, that he did know how to do more magic than he thought. And so he was able to double the enchanting ability that they used in order to open the door to get into the next realm after the Timekeepers. It could still be Kang, it could be Doom, it could be the boss chick who lied in the first place and said that, oh no, I want to find them too. Anyway, she could be part Loki because she lies well. So I think it was all very good. I also love the fact that the coward Loki, who was in all yellow, no offense for calling him a coward, he wasn't yellow, and he did say that he did the fight another day, which is actually very accurate in many cases. He did make a stand and built a very impressive city, which might have been Asgard, and as a distraction for the Balrog character, I'll just call him that. And I thought that was very impressive. And then he had a little bit of maniacal laughter at the end, because I guess that's just what you do when you know you're going to be eaten. But I gave credit to his character. He had a lot more chutzpah in the end. So I thought the alligator chewing off the hand of the other Loki, who was Loki for president, that's why he had vote on his lapel. I thought that was awesome. And the literal Loki was taking the alligator back, going, okay, let's just leave here. I thought that was all very cool. I love the fact that the sword that he gave our Loki was flaming. And because why not? It didn't glow blue, so there weren't any orcs involved, but it still was a very good-looking flaming sword. I fully expected him to be able to use it, but he didn't have to. So it's probably much easier for Tom Hiddleston to walk around in a shirt and pants than it is in Sylvie's outfit. And she does mention that and says, you could just whip me up a different outfit because this is a little hard to wear. So I guess it's leather is hard to wear all the time with all the lights and everything else. I would think that would not be pleasant. But I love the fact that they had a character moment and shared a blanket. And I like the development of the two of them. I'm a bit of a romantic at heart, but you could stop at the platonic and I would be fine too. So I thought it was cute that Mortimus was giving Loki a hug and then looked at the female Loki, Sylvie, and said, you're my favorite, just so she knew that he liked her too, which I just loved. And I don't know how he's going to kick ass and take names unless he gets armor or something to prevent him from being killed again and then popped back there. So, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get that in the next episode. There might only be 6 episodes, so it'll all go out in a bang. So far, I'm really liking it. I'm enjoying it. I did think it was cool that the portal image that they use at the end when they did the credits and they say, okay, so you're a variant. And kabloom, gum, and stuff like that. You'll see a portal of somebody going through a portal. That's actually the exact image of a game called Portal. So I wonder if they got rights to do that, because he was phasing when he went from one area to another. But I thoroughly enjoyed it all. Hope you guys are doing well, and talk to you later. Bye.
Well, thank you very much, Jazz, for that wonderful feedback. What you guys think?
Of Jazz's feedback or the episode?
Feedback.
Yeah, it was okay, I guess.
I think we touched on a lot of those as we were talking, so I think we're all pretty much on the same page.
Yep.
Although I think Jazz and I are more on the same page that we don't need them to be all like, ooh, kiss me, smooshy smoosh.
Well, I kind of thought
Dave and Steve are the other route.
Middle. I thought she was more like me, because I can go either way. And I'm fine with it.
I'm definitely on the romantic side. I'd rather have a romance. Why be alone all the time? What kind of existence is that?
Right.
Thanks, Steve.
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not there. But anyway.
Yeah, I love
I don't think it's creepy. They're not the same person. They're just
the same person. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she says at the end, "You're not me," or "I'm not you." Shoves him.
Yeah, actually, I was going to bring that up when we talk about it because I think that rolls into something we've talked about before.
A nice call out to the video game Portal. I like that. And of course, the Balrog, and that was good.
Yeah.
And of course, we all love Croaky biting off the hand of President Loki. That was great.
I love that meme. I love that. That's why I had to share that with you guys.
Oh, yeah. Though, of course, wasn't that the offhand of Thanos and not the gauntlet hand?
You know what? I haven't watched that moment in a while, so I don't know which hand it is.
Yeah.
No, because I think they were pulling the left hand.
Yeah. From what they showed, he was lost his right hand.
Should have gone for the head.
Yeah. That would have been a great one. And thanks for the orc comment there with the flaming sword. That was a nice callback.
Yeah.
And of course, Sylvie wanting a new outfit.
Yeah.
I wonder who.
I can see Leather being uncomfortable.
Yeah, very hot on stage, that's for sure.
Could be pleather.
That would make a difference. Well, as always, Jazz, we really appreciate your feedback, and maybe we'll hear from you for this episode.
Hi. As luck would have it, I agree that pleather is equally hot as leather, and Dave would know that if he ever tried leather pants. This is Jazz.
Which I haven't, but I should have.
Yeah.
What, Dave? You don't walk around wearing leather or pleather pants?
Nope.
All the concerts you go to?
No, I wear my assless chaps to concerts.
Okay. That explains. You air out that way.
Jingle,
Right.
jangle, jingle.
That's a mental image I didn't need.
Oh, welcome to the podcast, Jazz.
Hi, thanks.
Well, let's move on from the assless chaps and discuss initial reactions. Dave?
Yeah, okay. My initial reaction was meh. I really didn't like it that much. I think I watched it that day, and I sent a message to Sean and Steve, and I went, meh. And Steve's like, no.
Yeah.
What? Shut up, you. I still give it, I was going to give it a 2 out of 5, but I give it a 3 out of 5 stacked universes. But the one thing I can't stand is the grinning villain. I don't like the grinning villain. You know, this snarky, smarmy, grinning villain? I'm a big Batman guy. I never liked the Joker. Everyone's like, oh, Joker's so cool. I'm like, no, he's not. I mean, I don't get it. He's a psycho. So come on. But the grinning villain that knows everything, except this guy really doesn't know everything, as he proved at the end of the episode. But yeah, that's what I don't like. I don't like the grinning villain. So that disappointed me.
Okay. Sean?
Okay, so I went in and I was excited. And then when we had our reveal super early, I'm like, yes, I was right. Then I'm like, wait a second. No way I was right. This is way too early. And then I'm kind of watching the clock going, all right, hold on. There's got to be some additional reveal at the end. Big surprise. And then the way it came down, I was like, okay, now I understand why Dave was like, eh.
Yeah.
So I was kind of mad because, we had all of this stuff happening. And I was like, yes. Wait a second. Damn it. It's basically how it went through the whole episode.
And you know what the fault of it is, Sean? I guess it's because they're having season 2. So it wasn't even a killer cliffhanger.
Right.
No.
It was just, and you can't end the story. So I wouldn't say it ended with a thud. It wasn't like some other shows we've watched with thuds. But, okay. Shut up, Dan.
No, but I'll tell you, Jason and I looked at each other and we're like, wait, what? Are you kidding?
Yeah, it would have been nicer to have a post-credit scene that at least did something.
I know. I was like, maybe there's something and we're going to hear it or see it. So I just let it keep playing. I'm like, I don't know.
All
That's how I don't know.
Yeah. So we got meh and I don't know. All right, Jazz, can you top either one of those?
Well, I have some thoughts. I don't know if they're necessarily in line, but I agree that it sort of ended with more of a squish than a oh my, because I guess they're going to go with the time traveling theme that they've had throughout. And that's one way to do it, is to say, oh, by the way, you've shown up on Earth 52 or whatever, and not the one that you left. And it was just kind of odd in certain areas, but I mean, I found some of it, for the majority of it, I found it very enjoyable. It sort of ended with a cliffhanger, so I was like, oh, crap. But on the other hand, you get a season 2, and I was expecting Neve to come back because that was part of the fun of this season, was the interplay between the two actors. And I know that they had modified her costume. I read in one of the articles that so she was able to take care of her young child because she had just had a kid. And so they had modified it so that she could take care of her milk producing duties offset and not have to get completely out of the outfit and back in. So that's novel. Yeah. I've not heard of that before. But on the other hand, they gave her like a dominatrix outfit with like leather up to her neck.
Yeah.
With a little collar around it. And I'm like, was that really necessary?
That's the way I like it.
Well, you love your leather pants with open butt chaps. So whatever works for you. It's all good. But it sort of had a Wizard of Oz feel, sort of like, come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. And I saw some of the Easter eggs, and they were talking about him eating an apple. And on the one hand, it was cool that they got to the resolution, but on the other hand, it's kill me, don't kill me, I'll be resurrected. And I'm like, the little splurb in the middle where he was saying this is how it's gonna go. That was interesting, at least from a CGI standpoint. And so I like the special effect, but part of it was sort of like it wasn't a great execution. All the leading up to, there wasn't as big of a bang for your buck as I was expecting.
I can understand that because basically before we even get to see him, we already know who it is, thanks to Mrs. Minutes.
Yeah, she's a sneaky little thing.
Now, I enjoyed the
Swarmy
episode.
Herself.
Yeah, Swarmy herself. Definitely she is.
Tara Strong did the voice. She's very good at that.
Yeah, great Southern accent, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that was weird to see a computer program have a Southern accent.
Yes, very much so. I enjoyed it. I think my biggest disappointment in the episode was we just completely lost all the character development in 4 episodes between Loki and Sylvie because they just played right into his hands and let him get into their head, and they couldn't keep their bond strong enough to stay on the same page. So that was a little disappointing to me. And yeah, I love the CGI and seeing the timeline out the window of the Citadel there. That was pretty awesome. So I might have liked it a little bit better than everybody else, but not by much. Maybe 3.5.
Well, that's your timeline.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's get into the recap, Dave.
A clock is ticking in the season finale, which finds Loki and Sylvie on a date with Destiny. Put that on purpose, Steve, on a date? Get it?
Yes, yeah? Absolutely on purpose.
Wah, wah, wah. So we have our opening sequence change this week. And I'm like, there's got to be something in here. It has to mean something. Because we had voiceovers that incorporated just tons of MCU quotes alongside with snippets from the real world and not the MTV show Real World.
Right.
But we get Sam Wilson with Way to Go Tic Tac, and that was in Captain America Civil War. And then we also get Wakanda Forever, which that's a little heartbreaking because we do get Chaz Boseman one more time, actually, in What If, in case anybody wonders. Yep. He did do the voice, so that will be his last official MCU appearance. And we can all cry. But we get, he's a friend from work. I can do this all day. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. What is grief if not love persevering? And that about killed me, by the way.
Yes.
And finally, Open Your Eyes from the closing scene from last week's Loki episode. And I feel like there was a couple other ones kind of like where you couldn't really hear it.
Right.
It felt very, was it The Last Jedi? Where it's like you hear all of the other Jedis talking. We did get some non-superhero contributions coming from Neil Armstrong, Greta Thunberg, Nelson Mandela, and others. Again, some of the stuff you just couldn't hear super clear. And then we finally end up settling on a thin blue stream that takes us into a truly unbelievable sight. Loki and Sylvie standing on what looks to be an asteroid that's not even a full asteroid.
No.
Kind of, and staring at the castle as they walk toward what we've seen them walking toward, at the end of the last episode. And I loved how we had like different universes kind of expand and collapse. And I so just wanted, for some reason, just to see like Doctor Strange somewhere pop up. But as we're seeing all this, like, I don't know about you guys. I'm like, okay, what does this mean? What's going on? Is this everything happening at once? Is it like something different? Did they already screw up the timeline? And then, like I said, I wanted to see Doctor Strange and just anything, everything. And I was freaking out because where Steve will take over, we suddenly switch from the superhero genre and awesome, like, oh, cool, what's happening, to a little bit of horror, which I think we can all agree when after they go in and Steve takes it away. I know I freaked the hell out. But the opening, what did you guys think of this opening? Because like I said, I was so like, this means something. But I had super high hopes like going in.
Well, yeah, of course. What else could you think? Yeah, I mean, it was just the beginning. So, and all those quotes. What'd you think of that? That was our look at the past Marvel run of all the movies we've seen, and that's our timeline. And now that they're going into another phase, it's all going to change. And that was like a look back. Do you think?
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling from it. Is that they were kind of making it feel like all these timelines are starting to blend together and interact, but this is going to be the last time we see this.
Yeah.
At least for a while.
That will be painful because Black Widow came out right before the ending. And it's like, okay, so they're already setting up the next phase in that movie. How are they going to wipe it and do this? That's going to be really weird.
Yeah, they can't.
But it gives them a chance to bring in everything that Fox had.
Right.
Yeah.
The mutants, who apparently already made a little bit of a showing in Black Widow. And then there was the commercial, which I don't know if we should read too much into it. There's a preview for the movie. Oh, God, what is it? It's the Ryan Reynolds movie. Is it New Guy?
I think so.
Or Free Guy? Free Guy.
Yeah, Free Guy.
And he was dressed as Deadpool. And, oh, my God, I can't ever say his name. Taki Wakiti? The director from Thor, who also played, I think it was the big rock guy. He was dressed, well, not dressed, but he was his character in like this little preview. I'm like, is this a way for them to bring him over? Like all of this weird stuff kind of like wrapped together.
Yeah, maybe. Why not? I hope they just don't over expand and too much.
Well, we know we have
oversaturation of heroes.
Yeah, we have at least 2 that are going into the multiverse that are dealing with it. I mean, Spider-Man kind of already did, but we're going to get more with Spider-Man in the multiverse. I think that's with Miles Morales, and then we are getting it, obviously, with Strange. But we're bringing in the Eternals, so I feel like who knows what's going to happen. But anyway.
But I thought Wanda was also supposed to be part of the Doctor Strange movie, and they sort of had Kang's castle sort of have a Doctor Who vibe with the weird-looking circular windows.
True.
Doctor Strange? Oh,
yeah.
Actually, no, Doctor Who, too, is circular letters.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're going to bring everything in and, like...
That'd be weird if Doctor Who showed up.
And didn't they report that Loki is supposed to be in Strange, too?
Really?
So, yeah, Hiddleston's supposed to be in there. So who knows? Maybe he somehow warns him. It's like, we screwed up.
Going to get a headache if he has to fix this timeline issue.
Oh, he's going to get a headache anyway.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Loki's finally going to get a chance to really be a hero. Let's see if he can pull it off. So, approaching the door of the castle, Sylvia is showing some surprising anxiety, finally getting to face the people she's been looking for her entire life. Now, many Loki fans were predicting Miss Minutes would be revealed as the TVA's true mastermind, and while that notion proved wide of the mark, the chipper orange Clippy certainly knew more than she let on.
That's accurate.
Yes, indeed, it's Minutes who welcomes Loki and Sylvie inside the ornate Void Castle, referring to the structure as the Citadel at the end of time. Now, this term draws from 2 Marvel comic characters, both of whom have been heavily cited by Loki theorists. First is He Who Remains, who also dwelt in the Citadel at the end of time. And the second is Kang the Conqueror, who ruled over a quantum-defying citadel of his own. She introduces the idea of He Who Remains, the person who created and controlled all. He has worked out a deal to put them both back into the timeline with no consequence in exchange for keeping the TVA intact. What? How the hell are you going to be in your own timeline and running the TVA?
I know.
Not doing it.
No.
And Miss Minutes sweetens the deal for Loki, offering him victory over the Avengers, the Infinity Gauntlet, and the Asgardian throne. Of course, basic plan to manipulate beginning right here because As soon as she mentions all that, it gives Loki a pause, and Sylvie notices it and says, I can't trust you anymore. She even says the two of them could exist on the same timeline together, but both Lokis curtly deny the offer, wanting to write their own destiny. Cartoon then moves to the office of Ravonna Renslayer, and she offers her some new files on behalf of He Who Remains, leaving the TVA worker very perplexed. Yeah.
So when they go in and see Miss Minute, that's when it turned to horror, because I think everybody was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And when both of them were like looking around with their swords, like, oh, something's going to happen. I'm like, oh God, what's going to happen? But we did get a little teeny tiny feedback from one of our former co-hosts, Jessica. She did say the only thing that would have made Miss Minutes better, especially in this moment, if it was like Dolly instead doing the voice, or even like walking on, hi y'all. I'm like, that would have been too scary, because we don't want Dolly to be thought of as a horror movie person right now.
That's true, because everybody would trust her and then you'd get knocked off.
Yeah. And when she says He Who Remains, I'm like, yes, yes, I had it. Then I'm like, this is bullshit, because this is way too early for them to reveal.
It just sounded too good to be true to me.
Yeah.
I mean, sweetens the deal, victory over the Avengers, Infinity Gauntlet, Asgardian Throne. Come on.
Right.
That's why I was like, okay, so Loki is looking at this going, this is too good. And Sylvie's like, well, no, we can't do that. I have to kill him. But at the same time, Loki's actually listening. But I don't think for a second he ever was like, oh, we can rule. We can do this and we can still be together. I don't think that's what was going through his head this whole time.
Yeah.
I think he was just like, yeah, I am a conniving person, so I should listen and then try to figure out what I would have done in this situation. And the whole thing with Miss Minutes, it's like in Ravonna's office, like, oh, he thought this would be better for you. I'm like, I'm still starting to think she's behind everything.
Right.
That she has gone rogue, and she's like, here, sliding over some files, like, you should check this out. It's like, all right, this is getting creepy.
You can hear her little footstep.
Right.
What?
You can hear her little footsteps.
I
she's
did not
walking.
know that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now I gotta like listen with it way up.
Miss
Just
Minutes said footstep?
Yep.
Yeah, you can hear her walk. There's a little floor underneath her, too, that appears when she takes a step. A little thin line of, like, white.
Oh my
so
gosh.
she's a shadow.
I did not notice how many rabbit holes did we start going down just from this moment.
Right.
Like, I have not hit the internet too hard because there's so much.
Oh, yeah. You can definitely
be lost forever.
Fall into the abyss and never get out.
What were you going to say, Jazz?
I had a question. When Miss Minutes person gives the files to Ravonna, isn't that before He Who Remains says, we've now reached a point where I don't know what's going to happen?
Yes.
So wouldn't he essentially have known what files to give Ravonna to get the
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
action that he wants?
Yeah, he contradicts himself. He says he doesn't know what's going to happen, except, spoiler alert,
He puts
see you later.
things into
See you
motion.
later or see you soon. Like, how do you know?
You're right.
Right. And so I'm like, all right, well, if you knew what was going to happen, how was that a surprise? Some of it I found very timey-wimey confusing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, well, if you were so omnipotent like you would have known that, and you could have prevented that. So maybe he wanted Sylvie to be the leader all along, or he just got tired of life and decided, okay, one of you can knock me off. I didn't really get it.
Yeah. No.
He wanted a break, but
That's one way to get it.
yeah.
That means he has to go through this all over again.
Right.
Essentially.
Well, he said he lived 1,000,000 lifetimes. I guess you get bored after a while.
Yeah. All right. Shall we dive deeper into the Citadel?
Do it.
Dive.
Dive. In Marvel comic lore, He Who Remains was a sole survivor from a past universe who founded the new TVA to avoid repeating past mistakes. The new TVA. Appearing in 1976's Thor 245, He Who Remains was ancient, all-powerful, and incredibly wrinkly. The figure had honest intentions, though, and it would change his methods on the advice of Thor and Jane Foster. While Loki's interpretation of the character borrows the name and the TVA connection, his backstory and the motivations are entirely altered. Yeah, they've done that. Series do that.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen it to some degree in Game of Thrones. That the character is played by
Game of Thrones.
What's that?
We don't want to talk about Game of Thrones.
Oh, we know how that ended, too.
Yeah.
That the character is played by Jonathan Majors might explain why. 'Cause refusing Miss Minda's kind offer, Sylvie and Loki head deeper into the Citadel, passing a trio of statues that seems to represent the Timekeepers. Interestingly, there's a fourth statue broken and lying on the floor. The meaning behind this mystery, fourth beetle, I thought it might be even the fifth beetle, but there should have been 5 statues.
Right.
That would have been cool. And it would explain the apple as in Apple Records, too.
Yes.
This may be elaborated upon in Loki Season 2, but it could also serve as a simple nod to the Marvel Comics in which He Who Remains initially created a quartet of timekeepers, only for one, the Oracle of Siwa, to be banished to ancient Egypt. Well, so maybe they did do a good job in changing things a little. You guys really want to travel to ancient Egypt?
I kind of feel like they're going to be there.
Oh, boy.
That looked like what
Stargate
his
time.
he said is from.
Yep. Time to hit the Stargate.
That was cool, though.
Now I'm interested in the different timekeepers. Why do I want to be interested in them? But now I want to.
Well, you kind of got to figure that they are probably the ones that later on we find out that, yes, several of the universes decided they wanted to work together and make things better for themselves, and then others didn't. So you kind of figure that there had to at least been 3 or 4 that thought the way he did.
So you think they're all variants of himself, though?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I thought he might have imprisoned them in different timelines or areas, and one of them that's broken is trapped in the prison or escaped the prison.
That's an interesting thought.
Yep.
I read
Well-
a doodad about the fourth timekeeper who was on the floor, who was slightly different than what Dave had mentioned. Essentially, the fourth statue that was broken, they're all Kang, essentially. And as He Who Remains had said, not all of them are nice variants.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And so some of them have no morals or they have altruistic morals. And there was some chatter on the net about the fact that the fourth one was actually a reference to the comics where that Kang was banished for helping the Fantastic Four beat Kang's son, who's called Ramirez. And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of
Well,
ties in Fantastic Four, which is supposed to be involved.
Well, I got a name for the fourth one now. We can call him Chip.
Oh, oh my gosh.
I'm not going to let you down, Sean.
Oh, well, obviously those statues can lead us down rabbit holes everywhere. So we're going to move a little deeper into the Citadel instead. Hopefully you guys can spelunk your way down into crazy theories and come back. All of a sudden, we're moving forward and a door opens and Loki and Sylvie are invited inside when Jonathan Major's character makes a long-awaited MCU debut. He's curiously clutching a green apple, munching periodically on both the fruit and the scenery. And I didn't get what the whole thing was with the apple, but I swear every time he was eating it, it's like, wait, there's more gone, there's less gone.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was a continuity error or if that was like done on purpose.
They had a reference to that in the Doctor Who movie where he used the time stone with the apple and it would get really good and then it would shrink into nothingness and then get really good again. So it might be
in
tied to
Doctor
that.
Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, when he's wielding the eye of, is it Agamotto?
Yep.
Where it's the time stone basically rewinding and yeah, so it's like whole, it's degraded, it's whole. It's like, I understand it's like a whole apple motif bending temporal law, but because that's what Benedict Cumberbatch did, but it was like, I didn't know if that's what it's supposed to be. And it's like, oh, here's your Easter egg that somehow Strange is connected and we're going to see this. But I don't know. I thought it was weird. But of course, Sylvie is like, I'm going to kill you. And every time she tries, he uses a temp pad, which doesn't look like a regular temp pad,
No.
to avoid Sylvie's attack by bouncing around, including on top of the elevator at some point, which is like, that's weird. I thought it was going to suddenly start to fall or something. And I thought it was cool that Jonathan is in this because him and is it B20? I always say the wrong number. They were both in Lovecraft County together.
Yeah, B-15.
Yeah.
B-15. Okay. So, see,
Yeah,
but they weren't
they were ever
any
seen
scenes together.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, that's weird. To be like, oh, hey, we're in the same movie. Cool. And it's like, wait, I'll never see you.
Yeah.
But just thought that was kind of cool. It's like, maybe they'll have scenes together next season.
Yep. And we definitely see in this scene that is Sylvie's sole focus is to kill him, no matter what.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So-
she's just ticked.
Right. So you kind of get the feeling that this isn't going to end well.
I don't know, Steve. Love conquers all.
Well,
Not
there was that
necessarily.
hope. All right.
I really liked B-15. I thought the Hunter B-15 kind of grew on me after she got more knowledge about where she was from. And I think the actor's name is Wumu Masako.
Yep.
I might have mangled that. But anyways, I really liked her.
Yep. Well, is the TVA done? We'll find out. Back at the TVA, Mobius returns from the void to confront Ravonna. She apologizes for pruning him, saying he got in the way of her mission. She puts the call in for backup, only for Mobius to reveal he's put a stop to that. Oh, really now? So we cut to Fremont, Ohio in 2018. Hunter B-15 has been freed from her prison and is being pursued in a school by her fellow Minutemen. She leads one of them into an office, leading him to discover the principal, the variant version of Renslayer before she was recruited to the TVA. A certificate in the office reveals her real name is Rebecca Terminé. This is an alias Renslayer uses in the Marvel comics after falling out with Kang, though this Terminé lived in 1903 instead of 2018. Back to the TVA, Renslayer tells Mobius that the Timekeepers are a necessary lie, having to believe there's a purpose for their work. She argues only one person can have free will, the one in charge. Boy, is she brainwashed. She accuses Mobius of betraying her and their eons of friendship to support the Lokis. He pleads with her, saying they can make something better together. Where have we heard that before? Mobius makes the ill-advised decision to attack her, quickly ending up on his backside with the TVA pruning stick in his face. Now, Kate Herron uses a POV shot of Mobius's perspective to show Renslayer bearing down upon him, and the image is highly reminiscent of when a defeated Loki was faced with the Avengers following the Battle of New York. A neat line of symmetry between Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson's respective characters. Though she doesn't prune him again, she disappears into a time door in search of free will.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really confusing. And that's what I wanted to talk about. Because, I'm going to search for free will. When
You
like
just
seconds
said.
ago, it was just, the person in charge. So obviously Miss Minutes gave her the file of the, not necessarily super bad, I'm going to blow everything up, but iron-fisted kind of Kang. And for some reason, she's like, he'll make it better. Like, yeah, you definitely drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I wonder if this eons of friendship was all a lie. First of all, if you take it literally, she's only from 2018.
Right.
And eons of friendship, time travels differently, I guess, in TVA.
Oh,
But
sure,
I don't
because
know.
it's outside of time.
Yeah, but I don't know. She was only we're led to believe whatever she did to get pruned and sent her to the TVA. We don't know.
Right.
But eons of friendship, I question all that. And her going off to find free will. I mean, she could be just using that as a metaphor to find whoever's in charge. But she was fed the files that someone intended her to find.
Right.
Not the one she asked for. So she's being lied to again, I have to assume. Or steered.
Oh, yeah.
I was
She's
just
being
trying to-
steered.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out, it's like, okay, where were they falling? Where's she supposed to fall into place? Is it like a way to set her up as the love interest that's like, oh, I'll do anything for Kang and keep the TVA. But, when the rest of the TVA is like, what is this? What is happening? Oh my God, I'm not from here kind of thing. But she kept looking at the watermarks on the table.
Right.
And that's why I was starting to think, okay, she's really realizing, all right, stuff has happened and it's not quite right, but obviously it didn't play out that way. Not at the end, anyway.
Right.
She
And
should
all this
realize.
happened- and all this happened before they got to the threshold.
Yeah.
Maybe the watermarks are because she actually missed Morpheus,
Yeah.
Oh,
since
The
he's the one who
old
always
one.
makes the watermark. because he never
Yeah.
uses the
Oh,
ghost trick.
Mobius, not
Mobius.
Morpheus.
Sorry.
I thought, are you using a Morpheus joke?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That would be kind of a nice end joke, but that was unintentional. I did do some lookup and found out that he actually in the comics is a vampire. He's what they call a human vampire.
That's Morbius.
Yeah, isn't that what he is?
Yeah.
No, he's Mobius.
But
Yeah,
when
you
you
are.
look up Mobius and he's the same guy who did the human vampire, it's spelled the same.
I thought that was
that's
Morbius.
with an R.
Yeah,
'Cause
Morbius.
he's getting a live action too.
Right.
Supposedly.
Oh, I didn't know that. All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen. They'll take political license of anything and
You know what?
change it up.
Some of these names are so close, though. So it's like, wait, yeah.
Which one is it?
Mobius, Morpheus. Wait, Morbius. Too many. I can't even say him now, right?
I actually did
Mephisto all
prep.
along.
Exactly. I actually did some prep going, well, I'll know some Easter eggs and be able to chat about it. So, oh well.
But yeah, we're supposed to get his movie soon. I don't know if it's true, but we'll see because I think they were talking with Leto to do it, and that might be up in the air. I thought they had started to film, but I could be wrong.
I thought they did too. I thought he committed to it. I don't know.
I feel like after the pandemic, like everything went awry. During, I should say, like all the movies kind of went awry. So I'm not 100% if they ever finished.
I know.
So everything could change because we know what's happening. Absolutely everything, obviously. And this is showing that anything could happen and we're all going to be like turned upside down. I just want to know if that means we're getting Steve back in any way.
Who?
I'm cool with Falcon.
Oh, Steve. Oh, you mean Steve Rogers?
I want Steve Rogers back.
Oh.
One of the things they did was play his song in the montage in the beginning, the one that he danced with Peggy to.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Damn it. They're going to turn it all topsy-turvy.
I know how we wanted to see Doctor Strange in this, and I was actually afraid we'd see Cap come back, because that would just overshadow everything they've tried to build.
Right.
But with the cliffhanger they did give us, I'm like, okay, see you next year. So, let's get back to the Citadel. I think that sounds like a wrap.
Yeah.
Loki and Sylvie begin to realize their plans of murder are falling apart. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Especially when He Who Remains pulls out a script for this very conversation, showing that he knows everything that is happening and will happen. He gloats that he paved the road and he took every step on the way to get to that point, until the point where he doesn't.
Yeah.
He Who Remains explains that he must be deceptive, but it's all part of the effort to make sure it all doesn't burn. He goes on to explain his backstory in the 31st century. That's his backstory?
Yeah.
Okay. A very discovered the universes were stacked on top of each other, and he began to make contact with his multiversal counterparts. Eventually, some versions sought conquest rather than communication, which caused a multiversal war mentioned in Miss Minute's exposition from the premiere. This story, however, diverges from the conventional narrative. Variant went on to meet and harness a monster made from the, I always say tears. I look at that and I say tears, made from the tears and all the realities, Alioth. I watched all these shows in closed caption because I don't want to miss anything.
Right.
I'm like, wow, this monster was formed from tears? Oh, tears.
Yeah.
I like mine better.
Yeah.
Using Alioth, he ended the war and isolated the timelines again. Okay. He then created the TVA to help keep everything separated and prevent havoc from breaking out again. As I thought that, and I realized that, why does he need Elias still then? To protect him from what?
Right.
He's got the TVA. Everything's under control, including the part where, I don't know, it's just part of the path where he has to bring Loki and Sylvie to him. I don't know. That seems like a lot. He created the TVA to help keep everything separated and prevent havoc from breaking out again, except he needs a guard dog. He argues, therefore, he is not evil. He's a dictator, but there's something much worse around the corner if you depose him. You can dispose him if you want.
Yeah.
Well, I was disposed.
Some of that just strikes me as contradictory, though.
Absolutely it does.
I wanted to know, I mean, even though it was cool him showing everything on the temp pad, like it would have probably been cheaper to actually do like him just filming the scenes like live
Right,
and then putting it together.
Get the Miss Minutes explanation again.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that would have been creepy. She
Yeah.
just pops up. Hey, y'all, let me explain his backstory. It's like, stuff and nightmares. But listening to him, it's like, oh, there's something worse if you dispose of me. It's like, but is there?
I know.
And you gotta kind of think that's like anybody who wants to keep power is going to say something like that.
How far
But-
can you go? Let's say there is something worse. How far can you go down that road? You always fight the big bad, right? And win.
Well, and then how far down the road is it? I mean, everybody could live in peace for eons before something happens.
Right.
So that's why I thought it was weird. It's like, what? Every timeline is just going to be like, oh, I'm back. Poof. Right where I left. It's like, that seems odd. But He Who Remains does make them an offer. Kill me, or you two take over the timeline. Because I've been searching for so many years to find someone. And it turned out it was two someones. And I'm just really tired of the games. And I'm ready for it to be over. Because I'm much older than I look. When he said that, I thought he was going to like transform and we were going to get like a super old, wrinkly, like He Who Remains.
Right.
Let's see it.
But Sylvie, of course, does not like this idea. And she's bristling and she's like, listen, no, I have to kill you. Is basically her answer right off. And he replies that you're both terrible people, and now you have an opportunity to do good. And I think that kind of hurt our Loki.
Right.
Like, you're just saying I'm a terrible person. You suck. Maybe Sylvie should kill you. But
it's sad that she didn't intuit that he did change.
Right.
Yes, I feel like she should have.
Yeah.
But after that, you have an opportunity to do good. We suddenly hear a rumble of thunder, kind of. I really thought Loki was going to be like, Thor, is that you?
Yeah.
But a surprised look spreads across the face of He Who Remains. And he's like, huh. And he dropped. What did he drop? Was it a rock or like a...
I thought it was this TemPad thing.
It didn't seem like it was that heavy.
Yeah.
It was something smaller, I thought. And he's
okay.
like, oh, we've crossed the threshold. I didn't expect this to actually happen.
This was just testing for gravity?
Yeah, that's why I was like, he's going to think it's going to bounce and it just went bloop or something.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what that was. But we see a blue stream, which is supposed to be the secret timeline, and it begins to branch out. And he's like, I have no idea what's coming next.
What?
And I'm like, I still don't know if I believe him.
I know. Me too.
And of course, Sylvie's like, oh, you don't know? All right, it's on.
Yeah.
She lunges for He Who Remains, but Loki stops her. And he's like, I actually believe the story. And of course, she's like, you just want power. And he's, no, I don't. And I really thought they were going to come to some kind of agreement here. But things went, holy cow.
Yeah.
Because Loki's like, you can't trust and I can't be trusted. And thinking he's going to talk her off the ledge, but she has the blade to his throat. And then he tells her, I don't want the throne. I just want you to be okay. And this was after she almost took his head off, which surprised me she was able to stop, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Because she puts her blade down and kisses him. And I'm like, oh, Dave's like cheering
Dave's
right
happy.
now.
Yeah.
Dave's happy. Dave's
I thought
happy.
that was appropriate. I could see that. I was like, okay, well, that's good. Maybe he's gotten through to her. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I also got confused about what the hell the cross the threshold was. Because if He Who Remains knows everything, why didn't he know that was going to come? And what the hell is the cross?
That's why I'm thinking he was lying.
Well,
but
yeah,
the
he
whole
knew it
fight
was
scene-
coming. Yeah, he just didn't know that they were going to get there before coming to a conclusion with Loki's. Yeah.
The fight scene I thought was great.
Oh, it was
Awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Terrific.
I'm like, that was just perfect. But after she kisses him and she just looks up at him, and you can kind of see the relief on Hiddlespoon's face. And she's like, but I'm not you. And shoves him through a time door. I think there was a whole string of swear words that came out of my mouth.
Oh, absolutely.
One of them was like, you. There was a B word thrown in. But without Loki in the way, Sylvia's like, it's on. And He Who Remains doesn't remain. Because
Not for much
sword right
longer.
through his middle. And all of a sudden he's laughing and he's like, see you soon. And that is what really messed me up. And that is what I think Dave brought up earlier. If he didn't know, why is he saying that? He's just assuming the timelines are going to go awry and everything's going to happen like it was, but knowing full well that there's beings out there that can stop it other than him. But then again, when you think about it, the Eternals sat back on their thumbs and did absolutely nothing.
Right.
When Thanos was like taking out the entire universe.
Right.
So I don't know.
Fix that, Marvel.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Yeah, I
just
don't
meant
know
a
how
different
they're-
variant would show up of him.
That's possible too.
But that means if all the timelines are back, then everybody is getting what they're supposed to and where they are. That means Kid Loki has his throne and Loki Finoki is in his swamp eating, neighbors' cats and like,
Oh, don't eat cats.
hey,
Eat something else.
Yeah.
chickens?
That works. Chickens aren't nearly as cuddly. I don't want chickens.
I mean, like, I was just thinking, I'm like, or is this why the next thing is what if?
Probably. That would make sense.
I don't know. I wouldn't like that.
Well, you got a billion different possibilities, which is
Yeah.
what if are based on. Although I never did pick up those
I don't know. I
comments.
don't think that's what they're going to base on. I just different looks at the way we've seen things before. I don't think this is going to turn into the same continuity.
You don't think it's going to all play together?
No, I don't.
I mean, it could totally make sense. Like, all
Oh,
the
yeah.
different timelines.
Oh,
And then Stephen Strange, when we finally get there, is going to be like, son of a gun.
Right.
What did you do?
Well, they can have it both ways. Stephen Strange said he looked at a million different possibilities and saw the
that's
one that
true.
had to work.
That's true. He can see. And then Wanda was doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's a cheat. Because if you make it canon, and there's no such thing as canon, then.
Right. Everything's
Everything
possible.
canon.
Well, they just retcon it so they can have different movies.
That really takes a rug from out underneath all these great stories, though. I don't want that.
Right.
But if we get AVX that way, I'm like, I don't know. I might be okay with it.
Right.
Because I've been waiting to see Avengers and X-Men.
Yeah. It is definitely curious that we get to the threshold and he says he knows that he doesn't know what's going to happen, yet he knows that when she knifes him that he's going to see her soon.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, maybe he means because she has to get off that island, right? And she's got a temp pad, right? And I guess she's going to grab the other, whatever surviving Loki she wants to, like Kid Loki, because he's going to have his own series.
Right.
They already got alligator plushies out. Those are cute.
Oh my gosh, they do. I have to go get one.
Yes, and a pop. A pop
I've
was
seen
really cute. I never thought an alligator was adorable before.
The Funko Pop?
Yeah, and they also have little
It's got the little horns on it. It's hilarious.
I also saw a thing that said that the Star Wars, him eating off a hand is a nod to the fact that Disney now owns Star Wars and that all the people not only getting appendage lopped off.
Never
off in a hand.
Yep.
Wait a second. Is Kid Loki isn't part of the Young Avengers, is he?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, he is? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew Young Avengers were coming, but I didn't know Kid Loki was part of it.
Yeah, they've managed to.
Oh my God, they're
one for every series, TV series.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, 2 in the first one, but yeah. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. That's great.
I wonder if the alligator comes with him.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God,
please.
that would be great. I mean, he keeps jumping in his arms like it's his puppy anyway.
That's right.
Exactly.
Oh my God, we've totally gone on a different timeline. Let's finish this one up, shall we? See?
So we get to the aftermath as his buddy sits slumped in a chair. Sylvie sits on the floor. We pan outside to see the timeline begin to crackle as branching gets worse. As they watch the calamity build, Mobius and B-15 repeat the TVA mantra to each other for all time, always. You got to think at this point in time, and maybe I'm wrong, that this was this version of Mobius and B-15 that are aware of what's going on. Maybe. Elsewhere in the TVA, Loki silently sits, mulling over what's about to happen. He finally gets up and runs through until he finds Mobius and B-15 mulling over the branching. Loki warns that countless versions of He Who Remains are coming, but the two respond by asking, "Who are you? What branch do you come from?"
That's always a bummer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my heart broke.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to start all over with Mobius? Oh, that just sucks. So he runs off and stares out at the statue of the timekeepers that now is not the timekeepers, but the face of the very man he's discussing. And rather than a post-credit scene, we get a simple stamp, one that tells 1,000 words. Loki is returning for season 2. It ended on a good note.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're getting a season 2, but yeah, it was like
confusing as
what?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. So did she put him in the wrong timeline? Did she not know which timeline she was putting on? Did Kang set that up on purpose for him to end up because he actually knew what was going to happen this whole time?
Right.
Just the fact that she basically betrayed him just broke my heart. Anyway, and then not having any allies. She's like, "What are you, an analyst?" And I was like, "Oh my God."
Right. Yeah.
He should have ran and got into his locker and grabbed his jacket and said variant on the back.
Yeah.
And then those numbers on the wall, I'm assuming that was reference to when Kang was first introduced in Thor, because it was T something, and I cannot for the life of me remember. But it was it stayed on those numbers for an extended period of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried to look those up and I couldn't find any reference to them because I actually wrote those all down and I found lots of reference to various comics, but none of them were those numbers.
Ah, okay.
Oh, really?
Well,
because normally when it's the number say T365, it's Thor 365, and that's when one of those characters is there or something.
Appears, yeah. First appearance.
But that's weird if it's not.
Yeah, I could have just not found it, but there was one reference for 371, but the number that was on one of the archive stacks was 372. So I'm like, okay, well, that's close.
Yeah, not quite.
Not quite.
Well, I know the DHF DHF stands for. It stands for Dave Healy's Fabulous.
And then there was like an MSL and a TE7 and a TSV. And I'm thinking, I'm going to find something. And I found Bupkis. I was going to leave it to Dave and Steve to tell me what the Easter eggs were.
Right. Yeah. Those. Yeah. I don't know where.
I know not all of them, but I thought there was one that was specific, like just T and 2 numbers, which I assumed, like I said, was Thor. And I was just guessing because as we're staring at the giant statue of Kang, that it was when Kang was first introduced. But I do not remember.
Maybe it's Evil Kang.
Right.
Does he have a little goatee like in Star Trek?
Yeah.
Mirror
When
universe.
the evil people, a little mustache.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was in a Hallmark shop yesterday, and they had those Christmas ones. There was a Vulcan Spock hanging there with a little beard, and it says "Coming this October." Spoiler alert, everyone.
I still want a Tasha Yar one, but I don't think they made it. I have a Janeway one, though.
Oh, nice.
Do you have the little black pool?
No, I have all the vehicles.
Just make your own.
Oh my gosh.
That nice.
Yeah.
I like Tasha.
Yeah. I guess the thing that I had the most issue with is how everything got reset so quickly. Because even if it did reset, but it's not really reset to the beginning, it's reset to somebody else is in charge and has spent all this millennia getting the TV built up, and now there's a different ruler. And it's like,
Possibly.
yeah, how did that happen?
Unless that was
quickly?
orchestrated too,
Right, yeah. That could be.
You can go on and on, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, we get to the Doctor Who timey-wimey Hanway point with this.
Mhm.
Well, anybody else got any more thoughts on this episode?
No, I wanted more. I think we're going to get more missed minutes, though. I'm just saying.
Right.
She's going to be super creepy next season.
And I guess season 2 will be Loki's search for Sylvie. Because there's
Vice
almost
versa.
no way that they can end up in the same timeline to be able to work together.
Well, at this point, she doesn't like him because she considered that he betrayed her. So maybe
Right.
she pumped him back into a different timeline to keep him from finding her again.
Right. Very possible.
She kissed him and saved him.
Yeah. So I don't know. All right. Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts on each and every episode of this season and next season. So go to www.fangirlzone.com and click on the contact link where you will find several ways to contact us via email or through social media.
You're going to give me the giggles, Steve. Please review and rate us on iTunes and any other platform you use for your podcast with good ratings and reviews. It helps other fans of the show find us, as there are plenty of other Marvel podcasts out there. Tell your friends, and I hope you are enjoying our podcast. And don't forget to check out the other great Fangirl Zone podcast. Right, Sean?
Yes, much like the Mudhorn Clancast.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So like Steve said, you can go over to www.fangirlzone.com. We have all of our contact information there, so you can email any of us. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, everywhere else. We're kind of like American Express. We're everywhere you want to be. And for this episode of the Marvelous Post-Blip Podcast,
This is Jazz. It's not personal, it's practical.
I'm Sean Fangirl S. And until next season,
And I'm Steve. Oh, well, one man's void's another man's piece of cake.
And this is Mischievous Dave. And I'm sitting here, stuck to my leather chair because it's humid and I'm wearing assless chaps. But I do have a poem for you, and it's called Ode to Kang. For all the lies he's fed, for all the lives he's led, there's one thing for certain, he's never really dead.
There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.